All right, guys, I'm here with WWE's Charlotte Flair, and if you don't recognize her, you should. First of all, she is the daughter of two-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair. She made her first appearance in the ring at the age of 13. She's broken records ever since. So you haven't done a whole lot, in your career. Why are you here today? I'm kidding. Let's talk. First of all, congratulations on all of that. You were kind of reflecting like, wow, yeah, I have done all of that.
Yeah. You forget, but when I'm, sometimes responding to the fans on Twitter, I'm like, wow, I was on WCW television from a young age a couple times, but I never realized this was going to be my future. So to reflect and think, man, I had it the whole time.
Makes you smile, right?
It does.
Are you still having as much fun now as you were from day one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. More fun now because I'm more calm and I can soak in the moment and enjoy the process. When I first started, I wasn't sure of myself. I didn't know if this was what I wanted to do, and I didn't have a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So it just takes time, and now I'm like, I love my job. It doesn't feel like work. I can't say job. I love my life.
Well, see, one of the things that I love about you, and I'm sure millions of other people love about you too, is that, you could have really walked in this whole arena in a different way with your dad being who he is. But you made your own way, and you did it without people having to see every single bump and fall, and then here you are. Was that more pressure for you having your dad be Ric Flair, or was it a little bit of a cushion for you, would you say?
No, it's definitely a mixed blessing, and it's definitely a chip on my shoulder to this day, because yes, my dad opened doors for me and I got in, but being a second generation wrestler, and especially a female in this industry, everyone's like, well, it's the go-to to say, well, it's because her dad's Ric Flair, instead of saying, wow, this woman has worked really hard. She's known for her talent and not her looks in a male-dominated world, and she's been super successful. And I think that's extremely hard for people to take in. But for me, it's like, no, my dad spent 40 plus years creating this legacy that will stand the test of time, and it's my job to carry it on, and as a female, and no, it just makes me work that much harder, because I almost think to myself, will it ever be enough? And it won't. To me, it's just, I want to keep getting better and better, and one day he'll be Charlotte's dad. Exactly. To the little kids growing up, and that's what means the most to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You have that foresight to be able to look ahead at that.
Yeah.
You said a double whammy, being a woman in wrestling and then also having your father be who he is, there's a lot of extra pressure. But what about the female role models in your life outside of, talking with your dad? Who else out here has been able to push you to the top?
First, I want to say my coaches growing up, my gymnastics coach, Susie, my volleyball coach, Zoe. I had some male coaches as well, Kevin and Chad, but they were the biggest influences in my life when I was a kid, because I spent the most time with them. And then I just have a lot of strong, independent women who have done really well in their industry that I look up to. So it's not necessarily someone that's in the spotlight or famous, just these women that I just admire who they are as individuals, and I take little pieces from them and try to carve out, the path that I want. Like my friend Linda is married to one of the wrestlers, and she's just such an amazing woman. She's my accountant, and I'm like, God, I just feel, I don't know. So I don't have anyone like super famous that I look up to. It's just these positive, these like role models in my life that I've met along the way. But I would say Stephanie McMahon. Growing up, I feel like I could relate to her. Being in this industry, obviously, it's a family business. And if you look at Stephanie, you look at her as one of the most dominant characters in the WWE, and she's a female, and you feel her presence when she walks in a room. And I just, relate to her feeling the pressure, with her dad, her brother, and, her husband, Triple H, and then with my dad and my two brothers. And when she walks in a room, she just oozes confidence, and I want to be able to demand the room like that.
But you seem like the type of person that, like you said, takes a little bit from each person that you meet, and then you kind of build it up in terms of the inspiration that you get. There's a lot of pressure on you out there in the ring, and then I would assume just in your own personal life, because everyone's watching you, do you feel like you have to kind of watch your steps, or do you just do you? Like, what's your mode of thinking with that?
In my real life, sometimes I wish I was more Charlotte, because I created this character that I needed in my real life. So when I walk through that curtain, I feel just a certain way. I can't explain it. Like, wow, I'm Charlotte. And then I wish Ashley was as cool as Charlotte. But no, just, the more successful and the better I get at work, the better my personal life gets, and the more comfortable with who I am. And the best characters are the ones who are an extension of the real person. So just, no, I just every day I just learn something new with this job. And you come, just with traveling all over the world, you meet so many different people. And
speaking
I'm comfortable being me. It took a while to be Ric's daughter, but now I'm like, own it and prove everyone wrong.
So aside from that, what other challenges would you say that you faced along your journey to get to where you are right now?
Oh, wow. So starting out in wrestling or growing up?
Both.
Both.
What stands out to you the most as the biggest challenges that you faced?
Biggest challenges. Well, I wrote a book, a dual memoir with my dad, Second Nature, that came out in September. And I talked about my 20s. I've been married twice. I was very young both times and in a very bad place, and overcoming those and being in a codependent relationship. And now I'm 31 and just continuing to want to grow as a person and realizing those mistakes and not letting your past define you. And that was very hard for me to overcome because I always felt embarrassed or guilty, or no one understood. Like, how have I been married twice and 31 and been in these bad relationships? So don't let your past define you. And then
You're not all perfect either.
No, but I think it's, feeling like you have to be. And then knowing that everyone has a story to share and you're not alone. And it was understanding that. And then in wrestling, when I first started, I was always an athlete. So being judged by my looks and my outfit, and I didn't know how to do my makeup when I first started, and being online and seeing these media outlets who follow professional wrestling comment on my looks or just what I was wearing and my makeup and posing. I'm like, How
did you deal with it though?
It was just a growing process, learning to ignore it and just to think, don't give more hate attention. So obviously not commenting back, but learning that how those people must feel about themselves. But you're in the public eye, so you're opening yourself to that anyways. But how I respond is being able to show men and women or little boys and girls, to ignore social media, but use it as a positive outlet. So to say, like, I am known for my talent, not for my looks. And that's what's most important. And I can be independent and strong and an athlete in a male-dominated world.
Exactly. We were talking with the other girls too about the causes that are most important to them, and some were talking about body image, and I know you and I have talked quite a bit already about some of the things that are important to you, but what would you say is the number one thing that you want to make sure you get out through what girls see you doing, and make sure it sticks with them?
To be your own hero. That for me, I've needed positive men and women in my life to look up to guide me. And here I am now, my biggest cheerleader, and knowing that I can do it in this male-dominated world. I've main evented pay-per-views. I am a superstar. I've changed the game with all the women here collectively, and we can do anything we want to. And that's just believing in yourself and knowing that your past doesn't define you. So to be your own hero.
I think it's so amazing to see all of you ladies so tough in the ring, but you're vulnerable, and that's what makes you strong. At least to me, it does, and I know to so many other people too. So thank you for opening yourself up and talking to us. Where can people go to get the most info on you? Because we're talking about social media. Which one is the most poppin' account that you've got going on?
Probably my Instagram, Charlotte WWE, or my Twitter at Miss MS Charlotte WWE. Posting pictures is way easier than commenting.
Right. And look, she knows how to do that makeup, so you can't talk about her now at all.
And if I misspell a word, please correct me.
She's kind of busy, but at least she posts. Thank you so much.
No,
it's a pleasure to meet you.